In my last video, I said the Switch 2 is frictionless compared to the Steam Deck. And after actually living with it, I've realised something. It's close, but it's not completely frictionless. And it's the small things that get in the way. And today, I'm removing those. The biggest one, the way it actually feels to play. The Switch 2 is great, but the Joy-Cons, they just don't cut it for longer sessions. Even with the grip that it comes with, it still feels like you're adapting to it instead of it adapting to you. And it gets worse when you dock it. You're sitting back, playing on a TV, and suddenly the whole thing just feels a bit cramped. And that's where the Pro Controller comes in. This is where it stops feeling like a handheld and starts feeling like a proper setup. And it's not just comfort, it's the quality of it. Everything feels like an upgrade. The texture, the way it sits in your hands, it actually feels solid. The analog sticks are smoother, more responsive. Even the extra back buttons, you can set it up how you want and just leave it. And all of that just removes the small annoyances. You're not just adjusting your grip, you're not thinking about the controller. It just fits and disappears. Coops are sponsoring this video and they sent this out. It's their P2 split protection case. I've been using it over the last few days and it actually fits straight into the next friction point. Because the Switch 2 isn't one of the most comfortable devices to hold for long play sessions in handheld. The ergonomics are not even close to something like the Steam Deck, but we can close that gap and add something which removes that friction. And that's where the Coops P2 comes in. It's very similar to something like the Kill Switch from D-Brand. Same idea. Take a flat handheld and make it feel like something you actually want to hold for longer. And the first thing you notice, the texture. It's got this hard, rubbery feel to it, not soft or slippery. And that makes a big difference because you feel like you've actually got control of it. You're not gripping it harder to compensate, it just sits there properly. And then the shape itself. Your hands just fall into place. You're not forcing your fingers around the edges anymore. You're not thinking about where to put your hands. It just becomes natural. And that's where the fatigue starts to disappear. You notice it more when you go back. If you take this off and play without it, that's when it hits you. You suddenly realise how flat it feels. How much you were adjusting before. And that's the friction you don't really notice until it's gone. And then there's the other side of it. Actually taking it with you. Normally, there's always that hesitation. Do I put it in a case? Do I just throw it in a bag? With this, you don't really think about it. The front cover just snaps on. It's quick, takes a couple of seconds. Everything feels tight, secure, and like it's been designed properly. You're not second guessing it. And because it's built like that, it does take a bit more of a push to take the cover off. But that's actually the point. It means it's not coming off in your bag, it's not moving around, and you're not worrying about it. And one thing I didn't expect, it's got a magnetic ring on the back of the case, similar to MagSafe, so you can attach a battery bank straight to it and not have to worry about the extra cables getting in your way. They've thought through the extra details as well. All the vents are open so you're not blocking airflow. Buttons are easy to reach, you've got storage inside for your games, and the kickstand itself is solid metal. It feels strong. The only thing I'd push back on slightly, the kickstand angle isn't as flexible as the one that's on the Switch 2. It's still solid, still usable, you just don't quite get the same range. And yes, it still docks with the case on. It's a snug fit, you can feel it, but once it's in, it's solid. But overall, it just removes that layer of friction. Holding it feels better, carrying it feels easier, you stop thinking about it. And when you stop thinking about it, you just end up using it more. If you're interested in the Coops P2, there's a link down below, you can get 15% off. The next friction point is where you're actually playing, because handheld doesn't mean quiet room. Most of the time you're on the sofa, in bed, around other people. There's noise and there's distractions, and that pulls you out of the experience. So that's where the AirPods come in. It's not about sound quality, it's about control. You're not disturbing anyone around you, and you're not blocking everything else out. You still stay in the game even when everything around you isn't ideal. And that makes a bigger difference than people think. No wires, no setup, you just connect and go. It just removes that environmental friction completely. Last up, power. Because this is the one that always breaks the experience. You're in the middle of something and you start thinking about battery. Not because it's dead, but because it's going to be. And that's friction. So I just use the same thing I use for everything. My INIU power bank. Small thing, but it's a beast. I've had it for years and it's just my go-to. You plug it in, throw it into your pocket or bag, and you stop thinking about it. No checking percentages, no planning around charging. Now this one isn't magnetic, but if you're using something like an Anker or Belkin power bank with a magnetic back, it'll snap straight onto the case, which just keeps everything clean. Either way, you stop thinking about battery, you just keep playing. And that's the last bit of friction gone. Nothing is ever completely frictionless, but when you remove the parts that actually get in your way, that's when something starts to feel effortless. And that's where the Switch 2 is at its best. If this video helped, you know what to do.